The third time in 6 weeks in the first of this year's All-Ireland football semi-finals. After drawing on July 9th, Cork ran out 6-point winners a week later to take their first Munster crown in 4 years. Since then, Cork have beaten Donegal, while Kerry have enjoyed victories over Longford and Ulster champions Armagh.
Dropped in dangerously. Donaghy, as he did in Killarney, out jumping Bellew. Donaghy, back of the net.
It promises to be an intriguing encounter as Kerry and Cork go head-to-head for a place in this year's final. Welcome indeed. Colin, just to mention about that minor match which is going on, almost finished here. Kerry are leading at the moment against Donegal.
12, it's an early start for the minors next Sunday, 12:30, because you've the Tommy Murphy Cup at 2 and then the Dubs at 4 o'clock. So, you know, Meath won't be crossing any bridges until they come to them, but it looks like Kerry in the final. I think it's over
next week, but a few famous sons here today as well.
Yes, that's right. Ogie Moran's son and John Kennedy's son. I suppose in Kerry, the dream of every young fella is to play for Kerry in Croke Park, and it seems to replicate itself generation after generation.
So the minor match is just finished now, by the way, so that's obviously carried through to that match. We wait for Meath and Roscommon next week. Mayo and Laois.
Back for Cork in the past, and it must be said Kieran Donaghy's been superb in the last 2 games, but he's a novice to inter-county football, and I wouldn't think that it'll be a decisive advantage for Kerry as many people are anticipating. The only thing is, no goals in their first 4 championship games, 7 in the last 2 games, most of them coming through Donaghy, so it is the real contest to savour.
How important is that suspension of Billy Morgan, because he is such a demanding and commanding figure along the sideline?
Well, he's always great to watch, actually. He's so passionate and he infuses his team with so much of his passion, but again, it's what happens inside the white line that's all important there, and Billy will have his own influence, I suppose, when they stand, and again his lieutenants will be on the sideline, but in fairness, just when the lads go out over that white line, that's what's vital.
Kerry or Cork in a word?
Kerry by 4 or 5 points at least, Marty.
Well, there you go. Martin Carney saying it on the line. We look forward to this All-Ireland football semi-final. John Bannon is the match referee. The throw-in time is 4 o'clock.
Yes, and that's our second match here at headquarters this afternoon. By the way, Martin Carney buried his mum during the week. We appreciate him being with us here today. Right now, we're in the half-time interview in the Mayo Laois replay, the second half.
And a win from the 2006 championship, so Kerry won't want to give an inch this afternoon. The fans are as fired up as the players ahead of this All-Ireland senior football semi-final, and being Cork and Kerry supporters, there's no shortage of confidence outside Croke Park as throw-in time approaches.
We've got the gooch, we've got good players, we've better players in Cork.
We're up here to teach them a lesson today.
Do you want to rebut that there?
That's not going to happen today.
It's not going to happen today. What is going to happen today?
Hopefully we'll win, hopefully.
Would you agree with that?
No, it's going to be a Cork for the double.
After the last disappointment below Cork, Kerry should change things around this time around, and we should have the sand back again in September. Up the kingdom!
Okay, Kelly, are Cork going to win today?
Yeah.
Tell me why they're going to win.
Because my cousin Master's playing.
That Kieran Donaghy's going to catch every ball that comes in. He's going to score around 5 goals. And I think Kerry win by about the same score they did last time, around 10 points.
I think Cork will fire up and down.
Well, that's the feeling around Croke Park as throw-in between Cork and Kerry approaches in this All-Ireland Senior Football semi-final. Join Michael, Colm and Joe back in studio after this commercial break.
On the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match competition, you have another chance to win 2 tickets to the Bank of Ireland Senior Football semi-finals on August 27, plus overnight accommodation for 2 in the Burlington Hotel. Each competition winner will also be entered into a draw to win 2 tickets for the All-Ireland football final itself, and that's courtesy of Bank of Ireland. To enter this time, all you have to do is select your man of the match from this Kerry versus Cork game. If your chosen player matches the man of the match selected by the Sunday game panel, then you'll be in with a chance to win. To enter this time, ring 1515 717184 or text football followed by your man of the match to 57111. And viewers in Northern Ireland can call 0901 0630 115. Details again on RTE Airtel page 193. Lines will remain open until 5:45 today, and the winner will be announced in tonight's Sunday game programme. So then, on that note, you're welcome back again to Croke Park ahead of this All-Ireland semi-final clash between Kerry and Cork, the two teams out in the field. And there's the Gooch himself, of course, Colin O'Rourke. A lot on his shoulders today.
Yeah, I suppose they got through against Armagh without him playing brilliantly, but you know, I would think that Donaghy is going to be an increasing help to him to rehabilitate himself. You know, he's going through a bad patch.
By the way, sorry to interrupt you, Billy Morgan, of course, is up. He's been banished from the touchline today. Gerard Sullivan will man the line, but Billy is up there. He has a monitor in front of him, and I'm sure he'll be keeping very much in touch with what's going on.
I hope he's not listening to us.
He never listens to you.
I didn't realise that anybody listened.
No, that's supposed to. But like,
come up at half.
What I would hope in this game is a better quality. Like, you know, that was a poor quality match. You know, Mayo will be happy to have won it. I don't think whoever takes over from Mick O'Dwyer will win an All-Ireland with Laois. If God Almighty takes over, he just doesn't have the players there. And what we'll be hoping for in this game is a better execution of the basic skills of the game. I would say that on the basis of the last game involving Kerry, we'll see a big performance from them.
There's a perception, Joe, that when Cork played Kerry, drew with them first of all down in Killarney and then beat them in the replay, that, you know, Kerry weren't really in good shape at the time. Now they pull themselves together, and that this is kind of nearly all over. I mean, Kerry are odds-on favourites to win this match.
Well, I know that. I mean, but Kerry were undoubtedly anemic in both Munster final games, and you know, their prospects have been transformed since they went into the qualifiers because they've been able to rejig the team, and now that they've put Kieran Donaghy at full forward, who's an exceptional fielder of the ball, very game, and he's got lots of pace and he's a great attitude. He got up off his knees to score the goal against Armagh, which might be a metaphor for Kerry and Ulster, and you know, he's brought the scoring zone close to goal. Kerry's sort of whole game plan was increasingly being based on the Gooch, and of course they hadn't factored in the possibility that the Gooch might someday lose his confidence. And when he did that, there was no plan B. It also meant that because he couldn't take a long ball, they were having to work the ball in with short solo runs and short hand passes. Now they can give the ball directly. In the last game against Armagh, and Armagh are still the biggest test for any Gaelic football team, Kerry showed that they can play at a very, very high level indeed. Cork haven't shown that yet, so unless they've got something that we haven't seen yet,
that's fair.
You know, you would expect Kerry to win the game because they've got the high grade forwards which Cork don't have.
Okay, fair enough. But let's hear now from two players who'll be very much involved in the action here at Croke Park in just a short while. Two players for whom this summer has indeed been a bit of a contrast. The Gooch Cooper, we talked about him, probably one of the most naturally talented players in the country at present, hasn't quite reached his own high standards so far in the past few months. On the other hand, Cork's James Masters certainly has been a form player for the Reds. This is what they've had to say about today's match.
We know an awful lot of their players, you know, and I suppose Cork and Kerry is always great down the years, you know, but I suppose, as I said, you know, we knew that when we beat them in the Munster final that they were, you know, that like we gave them the respect. Like they're obviously one of the best teams in Ireland, like, and they've shown that throughout the years.
Going into Kerry Cork game, you know, a lot of time the form goes out the window, and in this case, you may say it's the same thing. But I know from the Kerry team point of view, people might say revenge and stuff, but we see it as an All-Ireland semi-final. We want to get one more step to an All-Ireland final, no more, no less, you know.
They have an extra dimension now, you know. They've got Cooper down low and, you know, and up high, and they've got Donaghy up in the air, you know. So, like, obviously their dimensions have changed, like, but you know, we're going to try to counteract that again on next Sunday.
Again, it brings a different dimension to our game, probably. You know, he's a big man, he's good hands, he's played a lot of basketball and rage, and right up to where he is right now. So he's a very clever player, and for whoever's inside, whether it's myself, Mike Frank, or Declan, or Darren O'Sullivan, he'll help you enormously. You know, he'll throw it after you, and he gives you a different option, and it takes a bit of the pressure off the other players.
We've come in for an awful lot of criticism this year after the Limerick game, and you know, even the Kerry games, you know, people still don't rate us, and even now against Donegal, you know, like people think that, you know, we're going to be hammered by Kerry.
They're a very, very good side, probably a little bit underrated at the start of the championship. They've introduced a few new players that have done exceptionally well that not too many people around the country would have known about. Billy Morgan, excellent managers and well trained. They know their game plan, they stick with it. Obviously they're missing Graham Canty, who's a big player for them, but they're very, very balanced around the team and have very young and enthusiastic players.
Last year we were in the same situation. We were all hyped up and we were all confident, and look what happened to us. So, you know, I just think that we should take it, you know, day by day, and if people want to put money on, there's no problem, you know.
Kerry Cork games take a law unto themselves. Whether we're going in as favourites or not, it won't really matter to us, or a point win on the day will do us.
Well, of course, no doubt about that. Let's get news of this afternoon's team selections right now. So let's go over to our match commentator. That's Marty Morrissey.
The Kingdom of Kerry returns to Croke Park with quite a swagger after that fine second-half performance against Armagh. This is the exact same team that started against the Ulster champions. Seamus Moynihan is flanked by Tomás O'Shea and Aidan O'Mahony in the half-back line, while Tommy Griffin remains Darragh O'Shea's centre-field partner. Owen Brosnan leads the attack with Sean O'Sullivan and Paul Galvin on the wings, but much will depend on what kind of magic the three inside boys produce. Given a quality supply, Gooch, Donaghy and Mike Frank could do untold damage to Cork's hopes and dreams. That elusive three in a row is still on for the hurlers, and amazingly the double may be on the cards as well if the Cork footballers produce the result that very few expect this afternoon. Just one change from the quarter-final victory over Donegal. Conor McCarthy from O'Donovan Rossa and Skibbereen wins his place back at centre forward. The focus of attention, however, will surely be on the performance of team captain Derek Kavanagh at full back and how he copes with the new bomber Kieran Donaghy. Consequently, how will cornerbacks Michael Prout and Kieran O'Connor cope with the twin threat of Colm Gooch Cooper and Mike Frank Russell? No answers on a postcard or email required. So all will be revealed here on the Sunday game by 5:30.
Well, there could be a replay. Who knows what's going to happen in this particular one. Colm O'Rourke, the Kieran Donaghy influence on Kerry since they made the reshuffle to the team. I mean, it's almost like it's too obvious. Put in a full forward with big hands and kick the ball into him, but it's worked.
It has worked well. The best thing that has happened to Kerry this year is that Cork, first of all, drew with them and then beat them, because it got to a point that Kerry's confidence was hit so much they needed to have some radical surgery, and so this is it. And we can see him, the first experiment was against Longford, where he set up practically everything. Brilliant hands there. Now, very difficult for a small man to get up with that. You see into Owen Brosnan, who has the speed to come through. And again, every ball that was kicked in that day, he's the hands, and he also has good feet. You know, a lot of the time he looks as if he's nearly going to fall over, and yet he sticks out a leg from somewhere. And he's even there to take down a pass. This fella's very game. It's not as if, you know, he's a one-dimensional player. There's a lot of aspects to his play, but I think it's the effect that he's had on Gooch as well, and Mike Frank, yeah. And, you know, a very, very neat finish for a fella who's about 6'5" or 6'6". Now, the other side of it is the problems in this Kerry full back line just persist. Against Longford they were running ragged on several occasions, and even more so against Armagh, and they gave away plenty of goal chances in both games. I pointed that out the last day. A back caught outside his man, and it happened continually against Armagh. Armagh could have punished them more, but I think you know, the biggest influence. Also another factor, I think, is Sean O'Sullivan coming onto the team. He's a pacey player, he's added a lot to it, but I think Donaghy has given a focus to that forward line now. Mike Frank missed a lot the last day, but we saw signs that Gooch is coming back, and I think, you know, you did interviews there with James Masters and Gooch. Masters has been much better than Gooch this year so far, but I still prefer to have Gooch today.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that, and yet what Colm said about James Masters, I mean, he's been a player to watch for the last year or two with Cork, and certainly this year did it when they needed it.
He has. Well, what he is he's an excellent poacher, very, very accurate, calm finisher, but he needs to be on the end of the move. He's not like a Maurice Fitzgerald or a Peter Canavan or a James McCartan, you know. He won't create, win his own ball, that sort of thing. I mean, all the time, what you see him doing when he's playing for Cork was looping around the outside, picking up a quick hand pass and dropping it over the bar. Very, very accurate, also for Nemo Rangers. The difficulty with him is, I mean, he has scored nearly all of Cork's scores from play, certainly from their forwards. The difficulty is, whenever he's locked up, now, against Kerry in the Munster final, I think that was the only point he scored from play in the first game. But in the second game, you know, he got away quite a bit. He got a goal and a point, I think, from play. Against Donegal, that's where the problem surfaced, the over-reliance, because any player can be marked, and when Donegal put Carl Lacey on him and then subjected him to the blanket defence, he scored 1 point from play, but really wasn't a feature of the game. He was eaten. The difficulty is that your house is built on sand when you're so reliant on one forward, and he's not. I mean, look, one great forward can win in All-Ireland once in a wonder, say Maurice Fitzgerald, but that's a once in an epoch type of thing. Yeah. And the difficulty is that they've just been too reliant on him. But as Colm says, Kerry's defence isn't well organised. They've got good players, but it's not well organised, and they will allow goal chances. The difficulty is, like last year, we were in our seats 10 minutes and the game was over. I thought Cork were really going to hurl themselves into the fray. And there's a big difference between doing that in Munster and coming to Croke Park with its size and with Kerry's pedigree and all and doing it here. So Cork need to hang on to them at least half time to give themselves a chance.
Well, Cork have given us examples here in recent times at Croke Park just about that bit of a difference, because they've come here and they've been swung around by the tail by Kerry.
That's absolutely right, and of course from Kerry's point of view the best thing that has ever happened again is the loss in the Munster final, because otherwise they would be totally overconfident. But I think Kerry against Cork any day, overconfidence is not a problem, because they want to just keep the foot on the throat, and it wasn't there in Munster, so they'll want to put it back on today. Cork's victory over Kerry was really based on a very strong backline which snuffed out the Kerry attack, and also by Nicholas Murphy dominating Darragh O'Shea to an extent in the middle of the field. Now they won a defender they couldn't afford to lose, Graham Canty. It's terrible that he's missing the game, and it would be a real good tussle with himself and Donaghy. But Cork have been winning low-scoring games by holding the opposition, but now they're coming up against a pedigree forward line. So if their backs are able to hold the Kerry forwards today, they're in with a good chance. But it's not something you could see. Perfect conditions for football too, which will suit the Kerry forwards.
Yeah, given some of the rain we've had over the weekend, it's nice to see the sun shining here. There's no doubt about it. Given what we know about this match, Colin, Kerry to win it, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's very hard to see anything other than a clear-cut Kerry victory.
Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, because when you come to big occasions, you look for the pedigree players and for pedigree forwards, and Kerry showed against Armagh that they could raise their game to that very, very high level. I mean, it was such a high level of play. The difficulty for them, I suppose, is coming off the back of a game like that. Often it's better to have an ugly victory, and if that were true, then Cork are in a pole position, because their victory against Donegal couldn't have been any uglier. I mean, I suspect Kerry to win by, I would have thought a fair wee bit,
Oh, that's what the panel think. Well, the commentary on the big match is from Marty Morrissey and Martin Carney.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's Kerry's 72nd All-Ireland semi-final, and of the previous 71, they've won 53. In contrast, it's Cork's 30th All-Ireland semi-final this afternoon, and they've won the previous only 16 at this particular stage. Well, it's their fourth match on the field of battle this afternoon, and it's so far Cork seem to be in front by two victories, or at least one victory after a replay. And of course Kerry did defeat Cork in the National Football League, but League and Championship are two different competitions, different attitudes, different preparations, and today Kerry are very much intent on revenge. Some wouldn't say revenge, but when it's Cork and Kerry, it takes on a whole new life of its own. Last year they met and there was a huge difference in the All-Ireland semi-final. We're hoping for a real tussle, and I had a quick word with Billy Morgan when he arrived, and he certainly was very determined as always, and very confident in fact that today was going to be their day. Martin Carney joins me in the commentary position. We know from our little scene set down the sideline that you fancy Kerry, like Colm O'Rourke as well. You stick with Kerry. Give us the reasons why.
Well, I think they've been reborn in the last couple of weeks, Marty. Whatever kind of internal spring cleaning went on, it has certainly improved the team. They've discovered a winning formula that generates goals, and on top of all of that, the trio O'Shea's has started to play superb football. I think, again, everybody's talking about the switch of Donaghy. That has certainly made a significant difference in the style of their play. There's greater variation around their forward line, and again, I've been very impressed with Sean O'Sullivan up front. But I think the spirit that was absent in the games in Munster has been rediscovered, and I think Cork will meet a different Kerry team than played at both Killarney and Cork and Keith a couple of weeks ago.
It's not just about Derek Kavanagh though marking Donaghy, it's about the quality of the two cornerbacks, because you're talking about Michael Trout from the Shamrocks Club around Shanbally, Kieran O'Connor from Ahada. They're very proud of him down in Ahada, following the footsteps of course of the great Conor Coonahan. But are they able to cope with aerial bombardment and indeed the breaking ball? Hopping around Mike Frank Russell and the Gooch.
Well, we can only judge things on what we've seen already, and in the last game against Donegal I thought the full backline was very, very poor, particularly in the two corners. But again, they will look to the previous game against Kerry that they won. They will play again with a fury today, and they will be ultra competitive, Marty. And I believe again they have adopted a strategy favoured by our man Tyrone, provided they play Shawnee Bryan back in the half back line. Pierce O'Neill will play very far back, and they will try and stifle the creativity in the Kerry forward line as much as possible. Also, I think significantly today, Marty, they brought in Conor McCartney in centre forward. Has been absent, but a very mobile, a very elusive, a very strong running player. And again, if there is a weakness in Seamus Moynihan's play at centre back, I think he's the player who can exploit it. But again, I would like to echo what Colm said. If the game is low scoring, Cork can win it, but I fear that it will be a high scoring game, and in that case I think Kerry will come through.
Well, I remember back in 1990 when Cork won by 15 points, Cork fans allegedly saying, shut the gates, don't let any Kerry man or woman out, let them suffer for this, because we've suffered so many times in the past. And there is that apprehension in Cork. That may happen to them this afternoon.
Well, there is that apprehension, but again, I think Cork are a coming team. Again, there's no pressure on them today. That's one of the things, I mean, that we have maybe failed to allude to. They're coming in here, you know, there's a bit of a martyr syndrome about them also. You know, the fact that Billy has been managed to the stand, so to speak, has given them an extra little G up. And I think they'll be keen to do it for Billy, so to speak. And I really believe that they will play with great passion today. They will play with an awful lot of application. But I just don't think that they have the overall class, the overall finishing power and the scoring power. They're too confined in one respect. You know, James Masters has been scoring something like 60 or 70% of the scores today. They need a few others to come up to the plate today.
Well, on the reverse side of that, no team has conceded fewer goals in the championship, and indeed in this particular season than Cork. 9 clean sheets, only 2 goals conceded in 11 games. So Billy Morgan and Christy Carney and Sean Murphy and the rest of the management team are very confident that their defence can cope with Kerry. Let's just pause for a moment for the national anthem. Oran Naveen. Singing Oran Naveen here in Croke Park, and certainly judging by the shots there we have, a lot of Kerry people have travelled, probably the biggest response from Kerry fans in a long time, and it's probably inspired by that second half performance against Armagh. But can they reproduce it? Cork have no fear of Kerry. They have respect, but they have absolutely no fear whatsoever. Billy Morgan has claimed last year and again this year that Kerry are the most cynical team down south, in fact in the whole country, rather than the boys from Ulster. So let's see what's going to happen. Match referee is John Bannon. He refereed the 1998 and 2002 All-Ireland finals from Legan Sarsfields in County Longford. This is his 4th All-Ireland football semi-final. The scene is set. Kerry won the toss. They're playing from left to right down towards the old canal end. First of the All-Ireland semi-finals is on in Croke Park. Dara O'Shea, playing in his 61st championship match for his county, drives that in, and it's also the first wide.
Yeah, I just noticed actually in that little encounter both Dara O'Shea and Nicholas Murphy tangled. I think Nicholas Murphy actually has hurt his leg in that little encounter and could be in trouble.
Well, this will be a massive blow to Cork, but hopefully he'll be okay. He was man of the match against Donegal. Made his debut in 1998 in Cusack Park in Ennis against Clare, and has 3 Munster medals, but that All-Ireland is what he's after. Let's just see what happened here right from the throw-in as he tried to chase after Dara O'Shea, and you can see just there at the top of your screen he going down injured. This is 30-year-old Alan Quirk in Valley Rovers in Inishanna. Same club as Brendan O'Sullivan, and played midfield for the Cork Hurlers in 1990 when Cork won the double. Coming through from cornerback is Mark O'Shea, testing it out, well gathered by Derek Kavanagh almost, and you can see that the policy is let's lob it in. Scud missile time, down on top of Star they call him in Tralee. That's Kieran Donaghy. No point putting it out to the wings. Good catch here by Derek Kavanagh.
Yeah, poorly directed in indeed, and Derek Kavanagh very confident under the ball. Kieran Donaghy just comes in that little bit late and fouls him.
Army officer from Inishanna, and did overseas stint in Kosovo and Liberia, and thus missed out on being part of the Cork football squad, but certainly very much now first choice goalkeeper for Cork. There's Jerry Spillane from Ballygon in the Carrick Down division. Michael Shields, one of the finest GA clubs in the country, St Finbarrs in Toker, south side of Cork City. In towards the full forward line that will require quite a plentiful supply if they're going to trouble Kerry. Back outside far as Kevin McMahon tries to make an angle for himself. Good block down, however. Centre half forward from Skibbereen is Conor McCarthy. He's the one change in this Cork attack. In low for Shawnee O'Brien from Nemo Rangers. Leaves it back. Chance here for Cork to open their account, and that's over the bar. It's the start they needed. McCarthy supplied the finish.
Yeah, good up, very, very patient build-up first of all, and again McCarthy coming in late into support, rifles it over the bar. Again, a great start for Cork.
This is Gerald Sullivan. He's from Tariff in the divisional area of Duhallow, one of the favourites for the Cork Club Championship this season. Gerald Spillane. Of course, Billy Morgan is confined to the Hogan stand. There are incursions on the field, and certainly I was doing sideline reporter that particular day, and I felt he's been harshly treated, to be honest with you. I think it was twice that he went onto the field of play. And here in Croke Park, it's so difficult to make communication with players with the loud noise, and certainly I think a little bit more flexibility and compassion should be given to all managers, particularly here at headquarters. Cork have it once more. This is James Masters onto that trusty left boot. It's sailing this time to the right and wide.
Yeah, again, that was a high ball into the Kerry full back line. Again, we haven't mentioned that earlier. It has been the dodgy area, actually, of the Kerry team up to now. Again, the last game, I think they conceded 1-8 from play, and maybe Cork are going to try and exploit the aerial area of that by putting in a lot of high ball.
31-year-old Dermot Murphy from Dingle with the kick out. Dangan, as it's now called. Down towards Kevin McMahon from Roscarbery. Into the space, chasing after it is John Hayes. Outside him is McCarthy, but it's Kerry that win possession. O'Shea runs into a spot of bother here, not allowed to gain any ground. Sideline ball to the Kingdom. Towards Paul Galvin. Into the space. Frank Russell. Gooch has gone back into the corner. Again, they'll try it high. Derek Kavanagh and Donaghy, it's Donaghy, chance of a goal, a brilliant save by Alan Quirk, and the rebound favours Anthony Lynch. Second ball in, the first one was won by Kavanagh, although he dropped it. The second one was won cleanly by Donaghy, and Donaghy had a goal at his mercy. Michael Shields is the player down injured, and you can see he's in a spot of bother here, but worry for Cork. He says he's okay, but I have my doubts. Let's just watch this again. Again, it's the aerial bombardment in towards Donaghy. The star grabbed it, and Quirk was very quick off his line.
Yeah, great display at that time from Alan Quirk. Made himself big, narrowed the angle, but Donaghy will be disappointed. He should have slid it under him, but again, spooky time that time when the ball came in for Cork defence. 1 against 1, Donaghy against Kavanagh, Donaghy the clear victor. The alarm bells will be ringing if we see more of that, Marty.
Let's just watch this again. Fabulous catch by Kieran Donaghy. Grabbed it, Derek Kavanagh, the captain, fell to the ground. And really, Quirk did so well here.
Yeah, again, we talked about maybe, he's a new player on the inter-county scene. Maybe just the skills, those little subtleties that are needed in close to goals haven't been fully developed yet. But again, if the likes of Cooper had got that, you can well be assured that it would have rested in the net.
It's an amazing journey for Jack O'Connor in that selection process of Kieran Donaghy. Donaghy, you will recall, was part of the underdogs team that played against Kerry in December 2004. This one dropped in again, and it's gone over the bar. Good score. Difficult angle. Kerry people happy. Sean O'Sullivan takes the credit for that one. Level for the first time after 6.5 minutes of play. Well, Alan Quirk knows so many of these Kerry players so well because back in 1999 he won a Munster Club medal with University College Cork with Kerry stars like Eamon Fitzmaurice, Paul Galvin, Owen Brosnan. In fact, down in the Mardrag they used to call it UCK, much to the disgust of the Cork boys. Here come Kerry once more. Again, they lob it in high. This one is well wide, causing no problems for Cork.
Yeah, once again, I think that was the wing forward there, Sean O'Sullivan, who got that. Again, he's a sweet kicker of the ball. The direction was poor that time, but just let's marvel at the sideline kick he got a couple of moments ago. It's a superb score.
Kick out by Alan Quirk over towards the hook and stand side. Punch down for Sean O'Sullivan to run onto. His colleague from the half forward line is Paul Galvin. John thought about flicking it inside, goes for the score, and it's across the face of the goalpost. That's the third wide of the game for Kerry. Certainly they're going through a period of dominance, and they should have at least another goal and a point on that scoreboard.
Yeah, and central to all that dominance actually has been Darragh O'Shea breaking the ball on Nicholas Murphy, and again that time O'Sullivan fed Galvin. Galvin hesitated for a moment and eventually took the wrong option and put it wide.
Paul Galvin along the wing there as we look at Gerald O'Sullivan, won an All-Ireland minor medal back in 1974, running the line for Leesiders. Quirk's kick out is straight down the middle. Darragh O'Shea went up with Murphy, and Murphy is down on the ground for the second time. In comes Mike Frank Russell, dancing around that 25-metre line. Donaghy's first touch, knocks it back for his own Brosnan. Danger here for Cork, coming in along the end line. Good defending by Cork. Derek Kavanagh is back there to help out his defence, and he is fouled, and that's going to be a free out for Alan Quirk. Nicholas Murphy is down injured in the centre of the field, and again this time it seems to be the back problem rather than a leg.
Yeah, I think when he jumped for the ball with Darragh O'Shea got him with the two knees in the base of his back, and I think that's the reason he's down this time.
Let's just see this again. Yes, you're dead on, Martin. Yes, the knee was up. He was going up cleanly for the ball, but Nicholas suffered a little bit there with the back of the back as such.
Yeah, and against the first couple of minutes of the game already, Ger Spillane has shown himself very effective. That was a wonderful piece of defending that time he executed on Owen Brosnan. Great covering and a great tackle.
Alan Quirk is very busy in this opening 10 minutes. Won an All-Ireland junior football medal last year. Cork beat Meath in the final. Comes down first, Tomas O'Shea. Looking for a little bit of support. Paul Galvin is available. Tommy Griffin going forward. Down this side is the one and only himself. That's Darragh O'Shea. Nicholas Murphy staying with them. That's falling possession, and it's gone in Cork's direction.
I thought Darragh that time maybe might have got the free hit in his direction again. He had hoped that John Bannon would give him it, and again there's a lovely little bit of, shall we say, handbags going on between them and greetings going on between both Nicholas Murphy and Darragh O'Shea.
A lot of nonsense going on as well. The referee now is going to have a word with Darragh and possibly Nicholas as well, and Bannon has just issued, I think, a verbal warning from a bit of a distance.
Yeah, well, we knew it to be a derby flavoured encounter that would be somewhat spicy, but we certainly don't need it overcooked.
Breaking ball, gathered by the man who went up for it. That was Kevin McMahon. Michael Shields. Breaking ball, comes back to a Kerry man. Over first, Paul Galvin. Sean O'Sullivan has gone into space. Chasing after him is Michael Shields. O'Sullivan from command, just outside Killorglin, dropping this one in. Donaghy's underneath it, gathers it first time, lays it back. There's a chance here, but Alan Quirk comes off his line. Not for the first time. The goalkeeper saves. Gets it down first, Kevin McMahon. Under great pressure from Gooch Cooper. Referee, however, doesn't seem to like that particular challenge, and he's issuing just a little public warning, a little tick here to the Gooch. But look at Donaghy posing problems for Derek Kavanagh, and again this time it had to be the goalkeeper, as Owen Brosnan just couldn't control it the first time, but Cork was brave.
Certainly Cork very brave that time again. Great support running from Owen Brosnan. Again, a courageous bit of defending. Cork will be very pleased with their defending overall, even though Derek Kavanagh is having some trouble already with Kieran Donaghy.
Michael Shields lost the under-21 All-Ireland final to Mayo in Cusack Park earlier this year. Blatant foul on Donegal O'Connor, Ballydesmond and Duhallow. And if there is any place between Cork and Kerry where there is intense rivalry, it is certainly in Ballydesmond, on the borders of Cork and Kerry. Another one of the All-Ireland junior medalists from last year came on as a sub in the final and kicked 2 fine points, and certainly impressed Billy Morgan and the Cork management team over the winter and the spring. Off camera I can tell you that Nicholas Murphy is in trouble again. We'll concentrate on James Masters' first free. Croke Park in this All-Ireland semi-final. Over the bar. He scored a goal and 24 points in this championship campaign. Indeed, as we mentioned earlier, Cork will have to hope that the other 5 forwards come up to scratch. They really cannot be depending on James Masters to keep producing it. This is Nicholas Murphy. You can see there he fell awkwardly, and could have been worse actually. Lucky to be able to continue on.
We saw actually Graham Canty in the Munster final falling similarly and rupturing his cruciate. Nicholas Murphy that time I think just went over in his ankle, lucky to be still on the field.
Again they battle. That O'Shea and Nicholas Murphy. Comes for his Michael Shields. Spreading it wide. Over for his Donegal O'Connor. Takes it on the turn and sends it beautifully over the bar. That's a very, very good score. And emphasises the point we made just a moment ago about other forwards stepping up to the mark, taking responsibility. And certainly O'Connor did it here. Good score.
Yeah, again a trademark delivery into a forward, running into space again. Donegal O'Connor had the confidence that time to turn and shoot, and again he was on target that time.
Kick out, a lengthy one again. Cork hoping to snap up these breaks. Sean O'Brien is holding his head after colliding with a knee belonging to a Kerry man accidentally. Kevin McMahon back to the Nemo man. Played corner back actually against Fermanagh 2 years ago. Now transferred to the attack. That's the way they play football down in Nemo Rangers. They certainly can play in different positions. This ball is dropping in. It's no bother for us. Diarmuid Murphy. Kerry Bill from the back. Aidan O'Mahony under a little bit of pressure. Flicks it through as they move from the half-back line. Tom O'Sullivan. Up first, Mike Frank Russell. Lone Rangers in Killorglin. With him is Michael Trout from Shanbelly. Mike Frank turns inside, trots away, confident that the white flag will be raised. Nice, easy score for the Kerry man. Second point for the Kingdom.
And again a beautiful ball punted into space that time. Michael Frank Russell running onto it, got in front of Michael Prout, and again the confidence is beginning to rise with Michael Frank in the last couple of moments, and that was a real skyscraper of a score. Delightful one.
He certainly is happy and contented. A little bit of emotion there from Mike Frank.
Yeah, which is lovely to see, because he went through the horrors last year and earlier on this year, but again the last couple of games have really given his confidence a boost.
The Artful Dodger, they call him down in Killorglin. It is a wonderful tribute as Kerry regain possession. Here's Paul Galvin from Finoog. Won a hurling county championship with Lixnaw along with Eamon Fitzmaurice a few years ago. They love their hurling down in North Kerry. The Gooch thought about distributing it again. It goes for the score, but it's gone to the right and wide. 4 wides for Kerry. And you can just hear momentarily he thought about distributing it here once more, but then looked at the posts and said, okay, I can put this over, and just judged it just a few feet to the wrong side of the posts. Alan Quirk from Valley Rovers. First choice, of course, since Kevin O'Dwyer retired last year. Came in for the McGrath, caught himself and Paddy O'Shea from St. Vincent's. Battled it out for first choice. John Bannon is going to have a word here, I think, with Dara O'Shea. There's a knee up, he says, and it's the second time. Let it go the first time, but he's just acknowledging that he is aware of the way Dara O'Shea is going up for the ball. Just watch this again. The knee has gone up for the second time.
Yeah, again, it's a clear push, and that time he definitely pushed Nicholas Murphy with his knee, and again, John Bannon probably saw the earlier one and just putting down a marker.
Donegal O'Connor dropping this one in. Comes back outside. There's Tomás O'Shea. Interesting to see that Nicholas Murphy seems to have been moved to full forward. There he is now. And maybe they may try to do a Kerry on it and a Donaghy on it by dropping in high balls into that full back line. Or is it just a tactical switch to give Nicholas Murphy a chance to recover from those early injuries he's picked up? Referee has given a free to Cork.
Yeah, again, in that case there, Kevin McMahon was in very quickly on Seamus Moynihan, who dwelt a little bit on the ball. And again, Cork are working feverishly throughout the field, denying Kerry space and denying Kerry the time to build the patterns from the back.
Here's James Masters, captained Cork Miners to All-Ireland minor title back in 2000, beat Mayo. This is Tommy Griffin from Dingle. And of course he's been one of several midfield partners over the years for Dara O'Shea. Made his championship debut against Clare 6 years ago. He won an under-21 All-Ireland in '98. James Masters, All-Ireland intermediate medal with Cork. That's hurling, that is, after a replay with Kilkenny 2 years ago. But noted, of course, for his football ability and for his free-taking skills. 2 points for James Masters out of Cork's 4. The other scorers, of course, just in case you've just joined us, Conor McCarthy and Donegal O'Connor. Kieran Murphy's kick-out. Palmed away by Nicholas Murphy. Owen Brosnan lays it back for Sean O'Sullivan into the corner. Derek Kavanagh gets there first. Was played against Kieran Donaghy in midfield, a little bit of pressure. Has to let the ball go. Kerry, ferocious intensity there. Kerry men have it once more. It's Paul Galvin. Knocks it back. Not a great pass. In comes Sean O'Brien. Knocked back by Sean O'Sullivan. Looking around for a little bit of comfort and a little bit of support. The Gooch back outside. There's Dara O'Shea into space. That's a quality ball over towards Brother Tomás into space. Has the chance to take the opportunity, but he sends it to the left and wide.
Yeah, that's a very poor return actually from Tomás that time. Very perceptive pass from Dara O'Shea. Saw the space, saw Tomás in the overlap. Again, probably Tomás had too much time that time, but a bad wide from a good position.
And the build-up, this was quality here, but unfortunately Tomás will be disappointed with the finish. It was poor. 20 minutes played, Cork leading by 4 points to 2, and the real danger in this Kerry team still remains the high dropping ball to Kieran Donaghy. Kick out by Alan Quirk. Seamus Moynihan making his 60th appearance for Kerry this afternoon. Down for his own Brosnan. Confident to have a goal from there, but the umpires immediately signalled that it's to the wrong side of the post again. Well, not exactly what we were expecting from Kerry, Martin Carney.
No, indeed, and I think one of the things is this, like, okay, first of all, the quality of the supply going into Kieran Donaghy is questionable. The plan B then that we're looking for isn't exactly working at the moment. Brosnan that time might have been better advised to work it in a little bit closer to goals, but again, the shot selection that time from a difficult position, again, went badly wide.
Well, we must recall, of course, that first half performance against Armagh that Kerry produced didn't really bear any resemblance to what they produced in the second period. Coming through the centre, Tomás O'Shea steadies, and this time there's no mistake. 48 appearance today for Kerry. Scored twice in this championship campaign so far. This is his third.
Yeah, and again, Dara broke the ball down once again in that situation. Tomas this time charging forward. Had the ball this time, I must say, on his right foot. Much more confident of that and shot a good point.
This time Alan Quirk goes for the far overside in a hope of getting a better breaking ball. As you can see, coming out of that Shamuzzle is Paul Galvin. Sending in low towards Mike Frank, goes off Michael Trout. Ball outside. Seamus Moynihan coming through, past the 13-metre line. Thought about taking a shot, the referee says 2 hops. And that's going to be a free out to the Leesiders.
Yeah, and again, Seamus Moynihan is getting into attacking positions. He's picking up Shawnee Bryan, who's playing in the defensive position for Cork. And I suppose Conor McCarthy now, as far as I can see, has been marked the back by Aidan O'Mahony.
Well, this is it again as Seamus Moynihan. There was 1 hop there. 2 hops. Free out to Cork. Referee has just drawn one of the Kerry players to his side to try and inform them of some off-the-ball activity here.
Yeah, I think what's happening, okay, there's a little bit of afters from the earlier championship games this year, and it's becoming a little bit niggly and spiteful between Nicholas Murphy and Darragh O'Shea. There's a lot of old scores been settling, a little bit of a vendetta being addressed here by the two of them, and again, the referee needs to get on top of it very quickly.
And it looks like it's going to be a yellow card for one, if not both of these players, Nicholas Murphy and Darragh O'Shea. Handshakes exchanged, and it just seems to be one, just seems to be a yellow card for Darragh O'Shea. Fine catch by Nicholas Murphy, and the Cork crowd respond here in Croke Park. Down towards James Masters. Donnacha O'Connor provides the target. Back to Masters once more. Thomas Sullivan with him. O'Connor is right beside him. Drops it in towards John Hayes, but back there too for Kerry is Tommy Griffin. Put out over the end line. Referee says it was a push. And that looks like it's going to be a free out for Kerry. Free quickly taken for Dermot Murphy. Seamus Moynihan, there's confirmation of Darragh O'Shea's yellow cards, and Nicholas Murphy got a black mark against his name as such, just a public ticking. It's great play here by Seamus Moynihan. Great-hearted play. 3 All-Irelands in his back pocket already at 32 years of age. Galvin giving it back into the centre. Poor pass. Cork should regain possession, but it's own Brosnan that comes through the middle. Ger Spillane after him. It's a calamity of errors, but tenacious defending by Cork. This is Kevin McMahon, Munster under-21 medalist. Pumps it into the space. Donnacha O'Connor comes after it and gets there before the end line. Keeping him company is Mark O'Shea. In towards the centre. Just getting a little touch to it was Tomas O'Shea. And Kevin McMahon is happy to take the 45.
Yeah, and we must compliment the way Cork are working at the moment. They're just working like dervishes around the midfield. And that last time when Owen Brosnan went forward, there were 7 Cork players around them. They're really applying themselves, in every position of the field, and reducing the game in many respects, Martin, to a little bit of a dogfight.
It certainly isn't spectacular football, or indeed great football here so far. But from Cork's point of view, I think our analysts were saying it in our preview with Joe Bradley and Colm O'Rourke, Cork have to stay in this game certainly up to half-time, and it would appear as we approach the 26th minute that they're on target for that particular objective.
Yeah, they'll be very, very pleased actually with the way they've applied themselves. There's plenty of perspiration out there. Okay, the inspiration is probably coming more from Kerry, but every single Cork player out there is doing a job,
including Kieran O'Connor, who's just recovering off at the other end of the field. This is going to be taken by Donnacha O'Connor. Played well in the Munster final as well, hitting the post, you may recall. This one was dropping in. But nobody really goes near it because it's that O'Shea unmarked, right inside in a small rectangle. Paul Galvin. It's going to be a free, as you can see, for Kerry. As Cork introduce a substitute, Gary Murphy is on for Michael Shields. Right half back, it's seemingly picked up an injury, I would think, but Gary Murphy from Nemo came on against Donegal for Michael Crouch and was one of 6 Nemo Rangers players on this Cork squad.
Yeah, I didn't notice Michael Shields actually doing anything very wrong, so he would definitely picked up an injury.
Derek Kavanagh was fouling Kieran Donaghy. There was a little pull of the jersey as that ball was coming in, and that's going to be a free in front of the posts. Should be a relatively easy task. I think Derek Kavanagh is explaining to the umpires what exactly happened, but it doesn't matter because John Bannon decided it was going to be a free. Mike Frank Russell. Well, it's very high, but more importantly, it's straight over the bar. 2 points for Mike Frank, 1 from play, 1 from a free. Sides are level after 27.5 minutes of play for the second time.
Yeah, there's a lot of purists will be disappointed with it so far. Of the 8 scores, I think 4 have come from free kicks. And again, there hasn't been an awful lot of open and enterprising play, but there's been a huge amount of application by both sets of players.
Kick out again by Alan Quirk. Breaking ball. The Corkman certainly went for it. Now was Sean O'Brien. He had to work very hard to get it back for his Anthony Lynch. Ger Spillane from the Carrickdown division. The home of Liam McCarthy in Ballygarvan. Crossfield ball. Easily gathered by Michael McCarthy from Kilcummin. Just outside Killarney. A little bit of pressure from John Hayes. Seamus Moynihan makes himself available. Paul Galvin is right beside him. Anticipated, ball sent across towards Tomas O'Shea, in towards Kieran Donaghy, gets there ahead of Derek Kavanagh, willing to take on Kavanagh and getting inside rather easily, gives it back, chance here for Sean O'Sullivan, it's on target, made and created by full forward Kieran Donaghy, the finish supplied sublimely by a chap called Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah, that's the first time we've really seen Kieran Donaghy winning his duel with Derek Kavanagh. Again, great support played by Sean O'Sullivan, who came on to the left foot. His strike was delightful from a difficult angle, and again, Kerry will look for more of that.
Straight down the middle. That O'Shea knocks it down. Gary Murphy got a touch to it. Comes as far as Conor McCarthy. This is Murphy laying it off. There's Pierce O'Neill. Back to McCarthy. Lovely skill by McCarthy. Kerry men are all around him. They claim they did not foul him. But Cork will be happy with the referee's decision here. And Kerry supporters don't like it either. And it looks like it's going to move in an extra 13 metres. And just momentarily, James Masters thought about taking it and maybe having a go at Dermot Murphy.
Yeah, just going back to that, there was enough Kerry players around Jim, the Cork player coming through again, but there is a definite pull of the jersey, and it was a deserved free in.
James Masters going to go for his 3rd point here. All of them from frees. Should be a relatively easy tap over, and it is. Level for the 3rd time here in Croke Park after half an hour. Let's just see this again, Mark.
Yeah, again, just watch Pierce O'Neill going through that time too. I think it's Conor McCarthy gets inside one. Again, I think Aidan O'Malley comes around. They were around him in numbers, but I think they left the hand in, and again, a referee will always give a free in that situation.
I still think it was a bit soft.
Well, maybe so.
But you sounded great though, Mark.
Fair play to you, Mark.
Here comes Aidan O'Mahony. Well, it's a testing one for Donaghy if it stays within the playing arena, and it's Donaghy knocks it down. Corkman is still over it. That looks like to be Kieran O'Connor, picked off the ground, and that's going to be a free in for Kerry.
Again, talking about soft freeze, that's again a very, very soft. And again, two of them over the ball. I think Kieran O'Connor stoops down and picks the ball straight off the ground. Good pressure though by Donaghy and by Michael Frank.
Pick the ball off the ground though, clearly this time, and it's a chance for the Gooch to get his first point in this game after 32 minutes of play. Captain of Kerry taps it over. He's only 23 years of age, but he seems to be around for a long, long time. Made his debut against Limerick 4 years ago, and such a fierce, nice guy and a quality player, one of the best. Jack O'Connor. I don't honestly think Jack will be too impressed with this first half performance. I think he'd be rather annoyed with the quality of ball going in.
Yeah, and a lot of the display has been somewhat uninspiring up to now.
Here comes Owen Brosnan, letting it in fast. In fast Mike Frank, turns and puts it over the bar. Second point from play, third in the game. It's what the Kerry fans expect from the Kingdom footballers. Quick ball in, Mike Frank getting away from Michael Crouch, and there it goes, straight over the crossbar.
That's a perfect execution again of the basics of Gaelic football. Again, winning a break around the middle of the field, just turning, letting it in quickly to a board, out in front of his man, Corn, over the bar, great score.
This time he aims at the Cusack stand. Pierce O'Neill. Adam was at midfield on the Underdogs team that played Kerry in December 2004, and his midfield partner was Kieran Donaghy. And look where they are now in Croke Park, before an anticipated crowd of 60,000. This All-Ireland semi-final. Aidan O'Mahony again goes for the aerial route in towards Donaghy. Kavanagh knocks it down. Rebound falls towards Donaghy, touches it on the ground. Referee says play on, and it's Nicholas Murphy that's back there. Alan Quirk lays it off as Anthony Lynch, who's unmarked at the far side. Into space. Kevin McMahon. Not a great ball. The Corkman is there, just about. That's Shawnee O'Brien. Getting away rather easily from Seamus Moynihan. Can he finish? It's to the left and wide. Well, not known actually for his scoring prowess. He's only scored 2 points in the championship campaign. He's a converted half-back, cornerback to a half-forward position.
Yeah, and again, he's stretching Seamus Moynihan, bringing from wing to wing at the moment. Again, should have just composed himself a little bit longer on that, because the opportunity was there for a score.
Out of Cork's tally of 5 points, only 2 from play. Conor McCarthy and Donaghy O'Connor, the scorers. Goes off for Corkman. Kerry ball. At least 2 minutes of additional time, you might have heard there in the background, as Seamus Moynihan takes up responsibility. There's Tomás O'Shea. Colm Gooch Cooper making a dash now. Decides again towards Kieran Donaghy. The hop fools them all. Back there is Gary Murphy. Donaghy just coming into challenge. Lays it off. Hefty challenge, and Murphy must be said. Fair shoulder, says the referee, Sean O'Sullivan. Nicholas Murphy is back there as well. Donaghy has possession. Tries to go forwards. Referee says he was being fouled. Cork players disagree. And that's going to be a free in for Kerry.
Yeah, and again, we have seen this ploy repeatedly of the ball into the... Just watch again this. Donaghy definitely is fouled in this case by Ger Spillane. But we've seen this ploy again and again of trying to put the ball into Donaghy. It's a little bit predictable, and it needs a lot of fine-tuning yet before it can really benefit Kerry to the way they really want it to work for them.
Colm Cooper, known as the Gooch, made his first appearance in the Division 2 final against Laois 4 years ago. And that is straight over the bar. A class act. And Kerry stretched their lead to 3 points. And now I think Jack O'Connor will be a little bit happier going in at half-time.
He certainly will be happier. Again, they have settled in, and again, typical Kerry, all of a sudden they get a little bit of ascendancy and they start going out of reach a little bit, and Cork need to start getting winning the breaks around the middle of the field, which in the last 5 or 6 minutes has become a bit of a wasteland for them.
Just interesting statistics out of 14 kick-outs from their own goalkeeper. Cork have only won 3 at the moment. Kerry, in contrast, have had 7 kick-outs and have won 2. This ball down towards Sean O'Sullivan. Thomas Sullivan, Aidan O'Mahony, Tomas O'Shea, and the referee blows the half-time whistle. Well, up to about 5-6 minutes ago, you'd have said that Cork would have been going in the happier side at half-time. But Kerry have changed the complexion on the scoreboard, and indeed in the opening 5, 6, 7 minutes, they could have conceded at least 2 goals, certainly 1, and only for goalkeeper Alan Quirk denying Kieran Donaghy, Cork could have been in trouble in those opening 5 or 6 minutes. But fair play to Kerry, they have responded magnificently and go in at half-time. And judging by what we saw against Armagh, beware Cork. At half-time in Croke Park and this first of the All-Ireland semi-finals, it's Kerry 8 points, Cork 5 points. Do stay with us, we'll have much analysis after the break.
The programme. We're watching the All-Ireland football semi-final between Kerry and Cork at half-time. Kerry leading Cork by 8 points to 5. So far it's going according to plan, Colin, in the sense that what most people predicted would be the turnaround from the performance in Munster.
Yes, but Cork have hung on grimly,
Absolutely.
And I think grimly would be the word. They've only scored 2 points from play, but you know, we were saying before the game that the only chance Cork really had was it to be a low-scoring game, and it looked for about 25 minutes as if they were going to be able to hold Kerry. The last 5 minutes then, Kerry stuck on a few points. Mike Frank Russell looks a bit sharper, and Gooch kicked a beautiful ball here from a free. So Kerry are beginning to up the pace, and Cork are really struggling, I think mainly because Nicholas Murphy is injured.
Yeah.
And he got injured in the first minute, and he's a big problem. He's not in the game, and Darragh O'Shea is dominating that area.
But in fairness to Mayo, to Laois and to Mickey Morden, this game isn't much better than the first one.
Well, I'm not really sure how to answer that question. It's, I mean, luckily for Cork, Kerry didn't get the early goal, nor did they get the penalty that they ought to have got. I mean, if Donaghy had steadied himself and gone around the goalkeeper or just slipped it low, you would imagine...
Let's have a look at that chance we were talking about there, Joe, because this was,
Yeah, and, you know, especially given the pre-match feeling everywhere about how the game was going to go, if that had gone into the net, you would have immediately seen the Cork heads dropping. The interesting thing about it was the Kerry forwards are obviously so confident in Donaghy's ability to take it in there. I mean, Mike Frank Russell would normally stick that over the bar, but he put it in. And I mean, it was a 50-50 battle for that ball, and Donaghy took it with aplomb.
Yeah, it was a carbon copy, really, of the thing against
the back as well.
Yeah, it was a carbon copy of the one against Armagh, and maybe the referee or the goalkeeper had watched this because, you know, he's out quick. Sometimes you can be too close.
Yeah.
You know, you're better off to be out a little bit further.
But all he had to do was go around him, you know.
Well, the keeper made himself big as
yes, and he did very well.
But I mean,
in this
clear
case,
penalty. I mean, it's the clearest. Look, it's the clearest possible penalty. But
Brosnan should have
had the player coming in, though.
Brosnan should have took it on the volley.
Yeah,
but he's been pulled, both arms there. That's a definite.
I'll tell you another thing about
he should have pulled on that ball, Brosnan, and he would have got the same result as he did in the game against Armagh. Remember that? He pulled on the ball and it went straight to the corner net. He should have done the same.
Another thing about Donaghy, though, and I heard him being interviewed after the Francie Bellew affair, and he's a really refreshing personality, you know, because he just said, it was a great old hard out battle, you know, Francie's a great old full-back, all that sort of stuff. And today, if he had any sense, as soon as Kavanagh wrapped his arms around him, he would have gone to ground. But instead what he tried to do was to play the ball, even though his arms were being pinned. And that's what I think allowed the referee not to give the penalty. I mean, if he had just gone down at that stage, it was the clearest possible penalty.
Would have forced John Bannon into a decision.
That's the sort of thing that the real bomber would have done. You know, but he'll develop cuteness, you know, and he'll improve that way. But he's been a constant scourge to the Cork.
There's no doubt about that. Let's look at a couple of the scores that Kerry got from that first half, Colin, because when they've moved nicely, they've looked bright.
Yeah, they've moved the ball fast, and again, they have the option now of kicking the ball long, and here we are again, long ball in, and Donaghy out in front, and you see he's good feet, well able to take
and
control.
he goes straight at you, he's a nightmare.
Dances around, but then has the vision to see Sean O'Sullivan outside, who's been very bright the first half, kicked a beautiful sideline kick, and has got quite a lot of possession out around the middle of the field. He's a very good player, this fella. He was away in Australia for a year, now he's back, and he was very good the last day.
The noticeable thing about the first half is that the really high quality has come from Kerry. You know, I mean, Cork are clinging on, and they'll be delighted to be in the position that they are in, but I think it's fair to say that it's really it should be one-way traffic.
That score might translate something harder would do, which is block the player from behind him from getting the ball and just batted it down and turn.
Brosnan kicked it in quick, so you know that great option is out the field. To get out, there's no such thing as soloing now. They can bang it in. I'm sure he probably thought Donaghy would be that area, but Mike Frank is showing a bit of his old confidence, and he was willing to come for it and got it. And once he got the ball, then it's an elementary sort of thing for him.
I mean,
well, we have more on this All-Ireland football semi-final, and that's coming up right after this commercial break. This afternoon, we are giving you another chance to win a superb prize here on the Sunday game. Toyota, they are the official car to the GAA, and RTE Sport, they've teamed up to give you the chance to win a stylish new Toyota Aygo car, and it could be yours by answering the following question. And here is that question. Who were the last team to successfully defend the All-Ireland Senior Football title? Was it Cork, Kerry or Tyrone? To enter, just call the numbers on your screen there. You can also text AYGO, that's AYGO, followed by your answer, your name and your county to 57111. And there are also further details. They're available on Airtel page 195. Those lines, by the way, remain open until 5 p.m. That's on the 17th of September, the day of the final. The winner of the competition will be announced at the end of our coverage of the 2006 Bank of Ireland Senior Football Championship, and that of course will be on that 17th. Now back here at Croke Park, Kerry had the advantage over Cork in this All-Ireland football semi-final, 8 points to 5 in front of a crowd of 58,703, which is an excellent crowd. Been watching the two matches here.
Excellent.
Great crowd, and I suppose the danger for Cork now in the second half is, as Kerry upped the pace, they also have very good subs to bring on, and they use them wisely against Armagh. You know, you could have Declan O'Sullivan come on, could run at them. Darren O'Sullivan with this huge pace that he has, him and Fitzmaurice for a bit of power. You know, Kerry have a lot of options on the bench as well.
Kerry have one team already through from earlier on. The Miners, of course, won against Donegal. Two Kerry teams today, Joe.
It's essential for Cork's policy of containment, which is the only way that Cork can succeed in this game, that they start getting a grip around the middle of the field. I mean,
but this is
Kerry,
the problem,
you know, Nicholas Murphy hurt himself.
Struggling.
He's been one of the players of the championship.
Yeah.
He dominated the middle of the field in the two Munster final games, and for him to hurt himself from the throw-in.
Yeah.
And
then a knee in the back.
When they put him into full forward during that 10-minute spell, Kerry won 5 kickouts in a row. They brought him back out and they caught the next kickout. But he's clearly not right. And if you're playing on a mobile player like Dara O'Shea, who can not only take it in the air, but who's running and moving and fighting space,
and takes every opportunity to test Nick.
That's right. Well, he's skating on thin ice now because on a yellow card. But it's very obvious there's a bit of history there. And Dara's been outplayed a few times by Nicholas Murphy, and he's put down his marker early and often in that first half. You know, he really has been the dominant figure around the middle of the field. He has that power in the air, and he's not afraid to take on men in physical combat as well. So, like, for me, Cork would need to score goals to win this game, and I don't know where that goal threat is going to come from. Like, they don't seem to be able to open up the defence of Kerry in the same way as Kerry are able to open up them.
And because Masters, who's their key forward, lacks that blind and pace, there have been a couple of examples in the first half of Cork counter-attacking a big space inside, but Masters not attacking it because he doesn't have the pace to get that first ball. He's waiting for someone else to get on the ball, and as Colm says, it's difficult to see how they can, where the spearhead is that's going to get them a goal.
Well, I suppose the bottom line is, gentlemen, Cork have 2 points from play after the 35 minutes or 39 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah, and it's a similar pattern. I think it was the exact same against Donegal in the quarter-final, where I think they had got a goal from a penalty and 2 points. You know, I think 1 free and 1 play in that game. But they came out and they played with tremendous heart and courage, and they really got stuck into Donegal, and they will try and do the same again. Like, there's no lack of heart or passion on Cork's behalf here. It's just that, I think, Joe, you made the point, most of the quality play in the first half came from Kerry because they have the better players.
Yeah, well, it's going to have to be that kind of passion and commitment now from Cork, isn't it? Because this is a big test now for the next 35 minutes, because Kerry could walk away from them if they don't show for it.
They could, and you know, the way the modern game's played, it's not like the old days where you could go out and you could really get a hold of men's jerseys and drag them down to your level. You know, sooner or later there will come a spell in this game when Kerry are going to sort of accelerate away, unless Cork can somehow get a goal or two to sort of change the whole feel of the game. But at the moment there's a sort of an atmosphere of inevitability about it.
Okay, Noel O'Leary is on for Cork. We do know that. Not quite sure who he's replaced, but I have no doubt that Marty Morrissey and Martin Kearney will be able to fill us in on that detail.
Thank you very much, Michael. Welcome back. Yes, Noel O'Leary from Kilnamartyra, from the Muskerry Gaeltacht. Minor in 2000 is on the field. Noel normally plays in the half-back line, and we'll tell you exactly who's gone off in a moment, but certainly Noel can either play wing-back or wing-forward. We have an anticipation up here that it could well be John Hayes that's gone off, as Cork try to strengthen their attack. Let's see what happens here. More shoving and pushing between Nicholas Murphy and Dara O'Shea. Comes however to Tommy Griffin. And that's going to be a free for Kerry in the middle of the field.
I think Anthony Lynch has gone back into the corner actually to mark Michael Frank Russell, and I think Gary Murphy has come in for him.
This is Derek Kavanagh. And that's going to be a free out for Cork. Substitution here. We've Michael Prout has and John Hayes are gone, and Noel O'Leary and Kevin O'Sullivan are on. So changes in the Cork side. That's going to be a free for Kerry.
Yeah, Noel O'Leary now is playing right half back. Anthony Lynch is playing right corner back, marking Russell.
This is the challenge by Conor McCarthy on Aidan O'Mahony. Ball in again towards Kieran Donaghy. A race for Mike Frank Russell. Good defending by Kieran O'Connor. Sweeping up behind his fullback, Derek Kavanagh here. Gary Murphy. Back to Kavanagh once more. Two Nemo boys. Goes down this left flank, but it's an easy ball, or at least it should be for Aidan O'Mahony. It's a fair shoulder, and Shonny O'Brien. Seamus Moynihan. There's Mark O'Shea. Scored 2 points against Armagh. Hasn't had the opportunity this time to go forward at all. Derek Kavanagh pulls on it, gets it far as Noel O'Leary, gets it far as Conor McCarthy. Over for Sean O'Brien. James Masters wants it dropped in long and high. Kevin O'Sullivan gives it back far as Donnacha O'Connor. O'Connor needs the support of Kevin McMahon. Gets inside the cover, did very well, lays it off. There's a chance here for Cork. Oh, and Seamus Moynihan is there. Wonderful interception by the centre half-back, and a little bit of jersey pulling as well by James Masters, and that's going to be a free out. And Tommy Griffin coming in, letting his feelings be known to the Corkman.
Absolutely unnecessary that time actually with James Masters for them. But just watch again, good build-up from Cork. Kevin McMahon, a lovely little hand pass inside to Conor McCarthy, took the 1-2. Seamus Moynihan ran it like a book, intercepted, fouled, free out for Kerry.
Yellow card as well for James Masters, the first Cork player to see yellow. Free going to be taken by Dermot Murphy. Made his debut against Clare 2 years ago. All-star goalkeeper for the last 2 seasons, which is quite an achievement, taking over from, of course, a wonderful goalkeeper in Declan O'Keefe. Moynihan once more, laying it off as Kerry try and go forward. Sean O'Sullivan dropping this one in towards Kieran Donaghy, and the Gooch is coming along, sniffing, snapping at everything that moves, makes himself an angle. Easy ball, however, for Alan Quirk. There's Derek Kavanagh. Needs a little bit of running off the ball. Anthony Lynch runs into a Kerry cul-de-sac, and the fray is given against the Corkman, and Anthony Lynch and of course Kieran Donaghy had close encounters in the drawn Munster final, which resulted in Anthony Lynch being sent off, and was subsequently reviewed and demolished before the replay. Controversial decision in itself. And here's a chance for Frank Russell to score his 4th point in this All-Ireland semi-final and put the Kerry man 4 points in front. 2 from play, 2 from freaks. Frank Russell.
Yeah, what I've noticed in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half is those high balls coming in. Kieran Donaghy's having a great difficulty actually following the flight of it because the sun is catching an awful lot of them as they're coming in.
Jack O'Connor there with Johnny Cullity and Ger O'Keefe. Along the sideline, Ger O'Sullivan, of course, is doing the line for Cork this afternoon in communication with his team boss, Billy Morgan, up in the stand. Sean O'Brien back in there again. A little push on the Nemo man, so that's going to be a free for Cork. Just a few metres inside the Kerry half of the field. Taken quickly, far as Gary Murphy. Getting inside, here's a chance perhaps for Kevin O'Sullivan. Lays it off, good combination play between the substitutes. And O'Sullivan is fouled going through. And the Cork players point that it was inside the large rectangle, but I think that's more in hope than anticipation.
To be honest with you, I thought it was inside the large rectangle when he went in there. I think it had a good bit of combination again between the substitutes, and Kevin O'Sullivan that time fouled as he went inside.
Chance here for James Masters. Has already scored 3 times in this game, all of them from frees. Making an angle for himself and tapping it over the bar. Well, I wonder, was this a penalty? Let's see. As the Noel O'Leary and Kevin O'Sullivan coming through.
No, I think it was a good call by the referee because the initial contact was made just outside the small rectangle there by the left cornerback. I think it was Tom O'Sullivan.
Kick out by Dermot Murphy. Breaking ball. Picked up by Ger Spillane. Donnacha O'Connor willing to run at this Kerry defence to McCarthy. Crossfield ball, but it's not going to really cause any problems, I think. Well, then again, maybe it might. Here comes Cork. There's a chance here. They have to get inside the cover of the Kerry defence, and it goes off a Kerry defender and out for a 45. But Michael McCarthy is quite annoyed. I don't know whether it's the referee or the defending, because the defending was poor, it must be said. Nicholas Murphy did very well here. The layoff was good. And Tomás O'Shea and Michael McCarthy, I think between them, actually deflected out for a 45.
Yeah, Kevin O'Sullivan would be somewhat disappointed with that. Nicholas Murphy made a lot of a hopeless situation, won the ball well, fed it to Kevin O'Sullivan, but his eventual effort was somewhat disappointing.
Some activity going on, as you can see. Noel O'Leary and Paul Galvin. And this is more of the stuff that we saw in the quarter-final involving Paul Galvin and Noel O'Leary and himself, who've had, well, Noel O'Leary has been involved with some Kerry players tussles in the past in the Munster Championship, but you can see here that John Bannon, the referee, is having a word with Owen Brosnan and Ger Spillane, and both of them have been shown a yellow card.
Yeah, and again, one of the features of this game actually has been how little Ger Spillane has managed to contribute to it.
Let's just see what happened. And Paul Galvin hitting first Pierce O'Neill, and then of course the Cork lads reacting.
Yeah, a little bit of bumper cars, most unnecessary. And again, Paul Galvin gets himself unnecessarily involved in so many situations in a lot of games we've seen this year.
James Masters with the 45, didn't really connect with it. Easily gathered by Big Dad O'Shea. We've seen him so many times in the past do this. I remember when Kerry were playing Limerick in the Munster Championship a few seasons ago, he catching him right under the crossbar. Kerry are introducing a substitute as well. There's a change there on the Kerry side, and Declan O'Sullivan is coming on for Owen Brosnan. Owen Brosnan has scored 4 goals in this championship campaign. Declan O'Sullivan former captain, still the captain, I'm sure, in terms of the logistics, has to be on the field of play, and thus Gooch takes over the captaincy. I'll also tell you that Conor McCarthy, the Cork centre-half forward, has been booked. Kieran Donaghy has gone into his umpires to protest that he was being fouled, and the referee has spotted it rather belatedly and is going to Derek Kavanagh and has decided to have a word with the Cork captain, and it looks like he could well be shown a yellow card here, and then in fact he has.
Yeah, I think what happened there, a long high ball came in and Derek Kavanagh fouled Kieran Donaghy before the ball came in. Okay, he executed a fine fetch, but I think the attention was drawn by the umpire. John Bannon has booked, I think, Derek Kavanagh now, and it's an easy free for Kerry. I must say, in general, it's been a very disappointing game. We expected much more. Okay, we expected sparks, but we expected a lot more quality from both sides.
Paul Galvin pointing the finger there at Noel O'Leary, and obviously off the ball stuff, but and Paul, who's a teacher actually in Cork City, in Coláiste Crease Ree, so he knows these Cork boys rather well. But again, getting involved in a lot of unnecessary stuff. Far better for Paul Galvin to concentrate on the football and on the game.
Yeah, but I don't think Noel O'Leary's an angel in it either.
Referee sent over by Mike Frank Russell. I agree, Martin. Both of them should actually concentrate on the game. And you just feel that tempers are becoming frayed. There's an awful lot of verbal stuff going on. And remember, of course, that you will recall they met in Killarney. The match was drawn, and then they met in Park O'Keefe, which Cork won. They met in the league, and you can see that Kieran O'Connor is exchanging a few words with Gooch, which is making sure that his arms are outstretched so that nothing can happen. Fine catch by Nicholas Murphy. Confirmation of yellow cards being distributed as Kevin McMahon tries to pump this one into the space. Donaghy O'Connor is making some good runs. Chasing after him is Mark O'Shea. O'Connor giving it back again as Cork tried to engineer something here. This one is dropping over the bar. Good score for Cork, and they're beginning to show a little bit of potential up front since the introduction of Kevin O'Sullivan, and to a lesser extent Noel O'Leary. Gary Murphy set up the opportunity here, but O'Sullivan judged it centimetre perfect.
Yeah, and Cork are staying in touch all the time. Again, a fine kick from Kevin O'Sullivan, who's done very well since he's come in. And again, an indication just of the trend of the game, Marty. I reckon 11 of the scores so far have been from frees from both sides.
Breaking ball around the middle of the field. Seamus Moynihan, industrious and working hard as always. He lays it back to his old colleague on this half-back line, Tomas O'Shea. Big brother Dara. Paul Galvin who's waiting, but it's Aidan O'Mahony that has the actual possession. Gives it long, breaking ball, knocked down for Paul Galvin. Gives it across, far as the Gooch, leaves it behind him surprisingly, and it's Kieran O'Connor that comes away with it. Sean O'Brien lays it off, far as James Masters, who's playing very deep in this second half. Ball runs on for Pierce O'Neill from Ahada. Referee had blown his whistle. That's going to be a free for the Kingdom for a foul on Michael McCarthy.
Yeah, again, just going back to that last ball that went into Gooch, his touch was very poor, his confidence seems low at the moment, and again, you just feel that a score or two would do an immense amount of good for him, but he's just off the pace a little bit. Just watch this again coming in. Again, he'd normally gobble up those balls if he was playing at the best of his ability and at the top of his form.
Michael McCarthy requiring some medical attention. All-Star 2000, 2004 and of course 2005. Won an under-21 All-Ireland in 98, and it was from there on that he graduated to the senior team after making a reputation as an under-21 star. Been a Kerry senior footballer now since 1999. Cork are warming up David Niblock, son of Mickey Niblock, the former Derry footballer, who of course is now very much an ordinary Corkman. And here come Kerry, there's a chance here, good defending, and it's gone over the bar. But there was a chance for Paul Galvin, cutting through the heart of the Cork defence. It's now a 4-point advantage for the Kingdom.
Again, a great catch that time by Donaghy under severe pressure, but it's the perceptive pass that he gave on the run to Galvin. Again, Galvin just a little bit unlucky, got it over the bar, might have given the ball across to Michael Frank, who was available for the pass.
This is David Niblock, who has been introduced to the attack, and the man that's gone off is from Skibbereen, Conor McCarthy, centre half forward. Kick out in the middle. Nicholas Murphy punches it forward. And it's Niblock that gets his first touch immediately. Blocked down from Seamus Moynihan off the boot of Shawnee O'Brien. Pushing O'Brien away. It's big Dara O'Shea. Gives it long once more. Anthony Lynch underneath it. Seems to hit off his head. Comes back far as the coach. Mike Frank in fact, and that's over the bar. His second point from play. But it looked as if Anthony Lynch should have had this ball. Let's just see it again. It seemed to just hit off his hands and off his head. Comes back first Mike Frank, and he puts it over the bar.
Yeah, the ace goal poacher and score taker that time. A lovely score, I must say. But again, Anthony Lynch will be disappointed for fluffing an easy opportunity to collect.
That's 3 points from play, in fact, and 3 points from frees for Mike Frank. Breaking ball comes down for us David Niblock, who's pushed. And that's going to be a free for Cork. And Paul Galvin waited until Noel O'Leary arrived and then kicked the ball away. Rather silly. James Masters has gained an extra 13 metres as a result of Galvin's actions. So outside the Kerry 45, a free for James Masters. Dropping this one in. Corkmen latch onto it. Chance here for Donaghy O'Connor. Under pressure. Managed to squeeze this over the bar. Just about, I would say. Look from this perspective that we're here in the 7th floor of the Hogan stand, as if it was going across the face of the goal.
Yeah, simple enough situation. Again, ball went in. Nicholas Murphy underneath it, broke out, and again a good, well taken score, even though I thought from here initially that it had just gone wide.
Still plenty of time for Cork.
Yeah, and they're hanging in there, it must be said. They were keeping the scoreline low, as Colin talked about early on, and again, you know, if they got a goal, everything would open up.
Fine kick out by Dermot Murphy. Knocked down by Tommy Griffin. Good play here by Declan O'Sullivan. Making a bit of space, lays it back. There's Mike Frank. O'Sullivan goes for the return. Wonderful Kerry move! And it's over the bar. Drummond Pearce's man in South Kerry combines neatly to create an opportunity, not just for himself, but indeed for Mike Frank. But this time he got the return, and under pressure, scooped it over the bar.
Yeah, lovely little go, give and go again. Again, Russell centrally involved in it. Declan O'Sullivan, since he's come in, has shown a lot of imagination, plenty of mobility, and again, is working very, very well around the middle of the field.
Five points between the teams. 52 and a half minutes played about. Kevin McMahon, Noel O'Leary, Sean O'Brien. Not a good ball at all. It seemed to scoop it up into the air, chip rather than anything else, and it goes off Michael McCarthy for a sideline ball. And once more, it's James Masters. They're based in Shannon Airport at the moment. Dropping this one in. Once again, it's the mighty Dara coming away with it. Bursts his way forward in the traditional way that I'm sure Uncle Paddy would even be proud of, and gives a sweet ball to his younger brother Tomas. Sean O'Sullivan is providing the overlap, has to go back outside. Will give the long ball now, trying to sneak this one through for Mike Frank. With him is Anthony Lynch. Mike Frank tries to give it back. Interception by Gary Murphy. Two Cork players available. One of them is Sean O'Brien. The other is Noel O'Leary. Looking around at options. Goes for the short ball instead. James Masters with Kieran Donaghy putting the pressure on him. Gets by the challenge of Tom O'Sullivan. Lobs it in. Nice ball. Fires Donaghy O'Connor. Turns. Tries to get inside the Kerry defence. Nice play by O'Connor. Lays it off. Turns for O'Sullivan. And out for a 45. But Kerry were exposed, but thanks to Michael McCarthy, they're still 5 points in front. The best Cork move by far in this game, coming after just 53 minutes of play.
Yes, sweet hands that time from Donald O'Connor, fed it to Kevin O'Sullivan, but that's textbook tackling from Michael McCarthy. Just look at the way he came down on the boot. Wonderful, wonderful deflection for a 45.
Kevin O'Sullivan has done very well. He's from Baltimore, or Baltimore as they say, plays with Illan Rovers. He certainly has made an impact since being introduced.
Yeah, he's been very lively.
Man of the match in this year's Munster final replay. This is James Masters. This is the angle. And our camera at the canal end is dropping in. And once again, Dara O'Shea lays it off as Paul Galvin. Looking for a little bit of support. Plenty of options there. One is Aidan O'Mahony from Rathmore. In his 4th season with the Kingdom. Long ball in towards Kieran Donaghy from Paul Galvin. Turns, shoots, and registers a point. His first in this All-Ireland football semi-final. It's a simple game when played by Kerry.
Yeah, again, a wonderful pass that time in from Paul Galvin. Took his time, but go back to the beginning of that. It was Dara O'Shea's fetch underneath his own crossbar. Beautiful kick pass out, little bit of patience, changed the direction of the play, and again, fabulous kick in and a great score from Donaghy.
The gap is widening. I think even at this stage that Cork would need a goal to get back into real contention. Once more, it's Paul Galvin that's getting involved in silly stuff. And considering what happened to him in the quarter-final against Armagh, really should be looking at this match and looking at what he's doing. This is a ball inside, but Kerry are there in sufficient numbers. Donald O'Connor trying to put a bit of pressure on Seamus Moynihan. Coolness personified. As Kerry start the process again. Down towards Declan O'Sullivan.
Just go back to Paul Galvin, he's like a lightning conductor for trouble at times actually, and just Michael Frank Russell now is wandering out the field, so it's just Gooch and Kieran Donaghy inside.
Ball has just gone over the sideline, line ball for Cork it would appear, judging by the linesman at the far side. Ger Spillane going for the return. Gone inside is Pierce O'Neill. Nice play by the midfielder from Mahada. Shows a little bit too much of it. Should be there in numbers in terms of support, but it's a poor pass. And back there is Mike Frank Russell, who's playing back in his own half-back line. Remember the presenter of the Sunday game nighttime programme, Pat Spillane, doing that in his day. Seamus Moynihan lays it back for Mike Frank. Down towards the Gooch. Decided to not give the long ball or crossfield ball. Donaghy is still at the edge of the square, by the way. And they decide to play it in short. Chance here for Mark O'Shea to drop it in, and almost in the same position that Kieran Donaghy and Kieran Donaghy and Francie Bellew met in that All-Ireland quarter-final, and Donaghy just checking that his direct opponent is okay. Well, certainly the performance in this second half will feature, no doubt, the high fielding of Dara O'Shea. Not one, but several times in this second half he's been under the crossbar and in the square. Breaking ball, this time picked up by Kevin McMahon. 12 minutes left in this All-Ireland semi-final. David Niblock gives it long up for Donald O'Connor. Oh, he did very well. He's getting inside the cover. Needs the support of somebody. It's there, Kevin O'Sullivan. 3-4 Kerry players around him. Has to go back outside. Fresh on O'Brien. Donald O'Connor available. O'Brien takes a shot and it's over the bar. Point by the Nemo Rangers man. Wonderful catch by Donegal O'Connor. Getting there ahead of Tom O'Sullivan. Laying it back first, Kevin O'Sullivan, who had to work hard, but great defending by Kerry as well. Comes to O'Brien, he takes his score.
That's a wonderful fetch. The best fetch of the day, must be said by Donald O'Connor. Fantastic catch.
Cork are introducing Fintan Gould, and it looks like Pierce O'Neill is the player that's going off for Cork. And you recognise Darren O'Sullivan after his great goal against Armagh. He's on for his namesake, Sean O'Sullivan. Kick out by Dermot Murphy. Comes down for his Paul Galvin. Looking around for support is that O'Shea. Making the run is Aidan O'Mahony. David Niblock is the 29 that's challenging. Back outside. There's Declan Sullivan. Seamus Moynihan. Thought about giving the long high ball. Gives it back for his Tommy Griffin. Floating this one in. And it's... Well, now, I wonder, is that a penalty? And Kerry supporters here in Croke Park certainly would have felt that Croke seemed to be fouled, but the referee said no, didn't even go in to consult his umpires. David Niblock goes forward. Long ball Donegal O'Connor requires. It's a crossfield one instead. There's Kevin O'Sullivan looking around at various options. Fintan Gould it is, in fact. Gives it down for James Masters. It's a terrible ball. There should be defenders all the way. And it is. Michael McCarthy. Not a great pass, but Kerry get away with it as Michael McCarthy manages to work it down for Darren O'Sullivan. A real bundle of energy. Busy. Scored a cracking goal against Armagh when Enda McNulty made that dreadful pass that resulted in Kerry sealing victory. Here's a chance now. Here it goes. In long again. It's not a great one. Good defending by Kieran O'Connor. But it still reaches another Kieran. Kieran Donaghy tries to get by Derek Kavanagh. Flicks it back. Fires the Gooch. Beautiful play by Gooch. Just getting inside. Turns the opposite direction than anticipated. Seemed to hit off the post and wide. That's 8 wides for Kerry in this All-Ireland semi-final. That's a nice play again by the Gooch coming in. Trying to have a shot here, and let's see, did it hit the post? Just seemed to glance off it, in fact.
Yeah, just watch this again. Kieran O'Connor coming in again, arms all over the Gooch that time. Again, could have been a penalty. Again, if Joe thought the one in the first half was a penalty, that one was equally so.
Nine minutes, 8.5 minutes left. Kerry nosing in front. And if you're looking at Kerry for an All-Ireland final place, I think Kerry would be happy to just get over this without playing at the blistering pace against Armagh. Darragh O'Shea again is giving a wonderful display of fielding, not alone in the middle of the pitch, but indeed in his own square. Paul Galvin pumping one through. It's David Niblock has gone back to collect the ball ahead of Tommy Griffin. Noel O'Leary has Anthony Lynch, Derek Kavanagh, Kevin McMahon. Can the Munster champions produce something now in the final 8 minutes or so to really rattle Kerry's cage?
I don't think they will, Marty, actually. And again, the referee's frustrating them a little bit. They wanted to speed up that free kick, but again, he is to book, I think. Is it Declan O'Sullivan?
Darren O'Sullivan.
Darren, actually, who's come in there recently.
That's going to be a yellow card. Seemed a bit harsh, but anyway, referees has done a good job in this game, but certainly I think that not allowing the play to continue at this late stage, it can be frustrating to players. In fairness to Mr. Bannon, he's done a good job. Kieran O'Connor flicking it forward for Fintan Gould. Going for the return as O'Connor as Cork go into the attack with literally everybody up front. Only 2 players inside the own half of the field is Derek Kavanagh and Kieran Donaghy as James Masters puts this over the bar. It's his first from play and 5th in the game. 4 points between the teams.
Again, that's a fantastic score. Again, a good feed out from Shawnee Bryan to him. And again, Masters' accuracy once again in evidence there with a beautiful score.
Kerry are making a change. This is Eamon Fitzmaurice that's on. And coming on is Tommy Griffin. So the battle for places in this All-Ireland final has started, but just maybe don't write off Cork yet. but they need a goal. Fabulous catch by Nibla. Quick ball inside now. Thomas Sullivan kept his eye on it all the way. Dominic O'Connor was hoping that it would fly by him. As Kerry go back into the attack. Eamon Fitzmaurice gives it in long. Kieran O'Connor, Derek Kavanagh trying to get there ahead of Kieran Donaghy. Breaking ball, comes back off as the coach. The referee has blown his whistle and he's given a free to Kerry.
Yeah, and again in that situation there, Donaghy had no right to win that ball. Again, it was a 30-70 ball. Kept competing for it, and again won the free. Just watch it. Well behind, I think Kavanagh going for it, persisted and won the free. Again, just watching the jerseys nearly pulled off him, and again two of them collide with him, and he certainly deserved to get that free just for pure persistence.
And meanwhile, the clock ticks down to the 70th minute. And it would appear that Kerry are heading to the All-Ireland final. For Billy Morgan, it's going to be disappointment, I'm afraid, unless his side can produce something in the last 6 minutes. A chance for the Gooch to add to his tally of 2 points from frees here in this semi-final. On the 20-metre line, it's over the bar. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's his 3rd point. And stretches Kerry lead just that little bit further. 5 points between the teams. Kerry supporters are happy.
Yeah, and again, they haven't really been extended today, and they haven't played it to the best of their ability, but you've got to credit Cork for actually trying to kind of, reduce the game to a scrap, try to get the ball into the force, but they just didn't have the overall quality to actually really to actually beat Kerry.
Great catch by Nicholas Murphy.
His feeling has been wonderful throughout the game.
And Paul Galvin is in trouble this time. Sean O'Brien was continuing through, and the referee, and indeed Mark O'Shea, doing his best to be a peace ambassador there. And the referee, I think, is going to have a word here this time with Paul Galvin, and Galvin going to be shown a yellow card.
It's not before time. Like, he gets involved in so much negativity, which is a shame because he has so much quality. He's a lovely footballer. Some of his passing today has been outstanding. His work rate is outstanding. His bravery in picking up breaks, but he just gets involved in so much unnecessary messing.
Now, I'd be a big fan of Paul Galvin as well, Martin, but certainly I think when he gets involved in this, his performances suffer as well. A really good footballer. James Masters with the free. John Bannon is going to have a word this time. Looks like Sean O'Brien is having a word with the referee. And looks like the Corkman is going to be booked as well.
Yeah, and all this suits Kerry is just kind of winding down the clock, fragmenting the game, and it's up Kerry's alley.
James Masters slides off the boot, drops down. Still there for Cork. Looks like a Kerry man has it. And that's Seamus Moynihan.
Yeah, and he's been outstanding today, Marty, it must be said. Both covering, and some of his interceptions have been wonderful, and his general leadership has been, really something to witness.
Well, a victory for Kerry, of course, slightly diminishes Munster's, Cork's achievement in winning Munster. But you feel that this Cork football team are developing nicely.
Very much so. Certainly they've come on an awful lot this year. The likes of Pearse O'Neill, Donaghy O'Connor, James Masters, Kevin McMahon. We'll hear a lot about them over the next number of years.
David Niblock has done very well since introduced as well. Kevin McMahon hits a shoulder, or gets a shoulder off Tomas O'Shea. Ball inside towards Gary Murphy. Here's Noel O'Leary. And that is well wide. Really, they needed to create a goal-scoring opportunity to have any hope of salvation. Not the right choice, I'm afraid, Noel.
No, just a lack of composure, probably more suited to maybe, the defensive end of the field, to be honest about it. But some of their players have been somewhat chaotic. Indeed, from both sides, it's been somewhat chaotic in the second half. Too much just aimless kicking of the ball into the respective forward lines. And to be honest about it, Kerry haven't yet kind of fine-tuned that tactic of finding Donaghy. There's work to be done yet.
And I think that's really the way Kerry would like it. I think they would much prefer to have this kind of struggling performance at times. When you think of Kerry, you think of magical play and fast moving. They just didn't do it today, but yet here they are heading towards an All-Ireland final, and I think there's an awful lot more in the tank. And that's exactly what Jack O'Connor would like. Fintan Gould here on the 20-metre line, 2 additional minutes. Fintan Gould takes too many steps, and that's going to be a free out for Kerry.
Yeah, a lot of Kerry lads are actually, or the Cork lads are playing in ones. There's very little support now at the moment. It's all individual effort, very little collective effort.
Free by Diarmuid Murphy. Out crowds Kieran Donaghy. He has certainly become the darling of the Kerry supporters. Many people feel that in fact he should have been full forward a long time before he actually became the number 1 choice at 14. That was the game against Longford as Kerry go for another score, but this one is wide. By all accounts he was producing a club championship with Austin Stacks. But remember, he only made his championship debut this year at centre field against Waterford. So it's been an amazing journey so far for the 23-year-old. Just the lad. Hit a shoulder by Seamus Moynihan. Anthony Lynch goes forward. Bursts through one challenge. Kevin McMahon. Kieran O'Connor is up there as well. McMahon, however, can't gain any ground, and once more it's Seamus Moynihan that's there to distribute it, and Dara O'Shea, 30-year-old from the Gravepit, made his first championship match in 1994. That's Dara O'Shea. Kieran Donaghy giving it for Darren O'Sullivan. Not liking the challenge from Noel O'Leary, and again that's rather silly at this late stage for Darren O'Sullivan to get involved, particularly as he's on a yellow card.
Yeah, it's all very, very messy and again unnecessary, but a lot of frustration maybe in the part of Noel O'Leary.
Noel O'Leary for Cork gets a yellow card. Yeah. This is going to be a free for Dara O'Shea.
And again, the game is just limping into its conclusion at the moment, Martin. Again, too often Cork have just gone forward in ones, running into traffic. What Kerry are so much more composed, just protecting their lead.
Mark O'Shea dropping it in long up towards the Gooch. Turns onto his right, and that's over the bar. It's his first point from play, but his 4th in this All-Ireland semi-final, and the Kingdom fans rejoice.
Yeah, and he shakes the head, I think, in pure delight because it's taken him so long to actually get it. But a beautiful skill, a beautiful execution, little sidestep, right foot over the bar. Maybe that'll kind of kickstart his confidence.
The full-time is blown here, the full-time whistle is blown here in Croke Park. Kerry have made amends for losing the Munster Championship to Cork. It's a far better team performance by Cork, it must be said, than last year's All-Ireland semi-final, but once again defeat is their lot. Led by the mighty Dara O'Shea at centre field, the Gooch finally got his point from play, his first after about 72 minutes of play. Kieran Donaghy equalised what he did against Armagh with a wonderful performance at full forward, only this time scoring a point. But for Kerry, they're heading back to Croke Park here to face either Mayo or Dublin in the All-Ireland football final of 2006. James Masters may have scored 5 times, and for Anthony Lynch, an experienced player who made his debut against Waterford in 1999, it's back to the drawing board, back for Billy Morgan. But Seamus Moynihan, in his 60th appearance for Kerry today, will be making his 61st when he comes back to Croke Park on All-Ireland final day. And for Jack O'Connor, well, it's been an amazing journey. There was rumours of trouble in the camp with dissent, and then it all seemed to come right. The Kerry management and the players having meetings and deciding, well, we have to reorganise our team and put Kieran Donaghy at full forward. And since then, well, it's been an amazing journey. Kieran Donaghy and Jack O'Connor congratulate each other, and O'Connor, in his 3rd season in charge, looks forward to yet another All-Ireland football final. No goals in Croke Park today, but it doesn't matter for the Kingdom of Kerry, because Kerry win by 6 points. Kerry 16 points, Cork 10 points. The double is gone for Cork. The 3 in a row is still on for the Cork hurlers. But is it going to be Kerry against Mayo, or is it going to be Kerry against Dublin? We'll know that answer next Sunday. Let's go down to the sideline now to my colleague Darrell Loney.
Jack O'Connor, congratulations. Another All-Ireland final. How satisfied were you with the performance today?
Delighted, Dara. We knew this was going to be an awful tough game. The Cork wasn't going to die, you know. Fair play to them. They kept coming back even in the end. They had a couple of bowling chances, but I think our defence played well today. We set ourselves a target of conceding to, you know, maybe 5.5 or 5 or 6.5, and we stuck to that, and thankfully we came out the right end.
People still talking, I know, about the Munster final replay, the day you lost to Cork. How important, though, was that day for the development of your team now?
Well, we basically knew after that game we had to rejig our team a bit, and obviously Donny has given us a bit of shape and direction inside, and played well again today, you know. Things didn't go for him at times, but he hung in there. He's you know, mentally strong, which is great. Just delighted for the lads. It's you know, great sign of them. They're in their third All-Ireland final in a row. Delighted with the Kerry crowd as well. They've got behind us in big numbers after a ropey period there, you know, when we lost to Cork. But you know, we know the Kerry fans will get behind us. We give them something to cheer about, and I think, you know, the lads gave them that today.
You mentioned as well, Jack, about, you know, some of the reaction of the crowd. There was criticism when you go back to the Munster final replay. Is that still in your memory, or is it something that you've just forgotten about?
Well, sure, criticism drives you on, you know. I said at the time in the newspaper article that the people who were criticising us were doing us a big favour, because we just needed something to gel the team, and, you know, sometimes a bit of aggravation is great. Look, we're in an All-Ireland final. It's going to be a great month. There's nothing like having you know, a month down in Kerry to prepare for an All-Ireland final. It's just a great feeling, and the lads are really enjoying their football at the moment. I'm enjoying it, to be honest with you. There is no major pressure because we were written off 5 or 6 weeks ago. We're enjoying it. I mean, this is what you live for. This is what we live for in Kerry.
And a date for your diary now next Sunday. You'll probably pop back up to Croke Park, will you, to watch the other semi-final?
I sure will see. I'll enjoy this one first.
Well done, Jack. Thanks. Well done.
I have no doubt at all that he will. Congratulations to Jack O'Connor on the double there, being able to talk over the din here in Croke Park at the end of the match as well. Joe Brawley, you know, what an incredible couple of weeks it's been for Kerry, from the Munster Championship to being, as Jack said there, in the All-Ireland final.
Well, a lot of it comes down to Donaghy, because as soon as Donaghy went to full forward, he transformed the team's confidence. And against Armagh, the most important thing that he did was galvanised them, got the crowd on their feet, you know. And again today, it was just a delight. You know, the crowd were delighted, and the players around him have responded. You know, the Kerry team were sort of sleepwalking through their campaign. You know, that's what happened to them in the Munster final. But he has come along and he has really brought the whole thing to life, and it's very hard not to have a smile on your face watching him play. I mean, Art McCrory once said about Frank McGuigan memorably that it wasn't possible to give him a bad ball. And that's what Donaghy's like. I mean, anything that was thrown into him today, whatever way it was thrown in, he won it. And he's got the Kerry crowd excited, and his teammates have responded to him. And
well, they have, and all around the pitch, Colin, you know, Darragh O'Shea at centre field was superb, and other players like showed as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, Seamus Moynihan in the last 2 games has probably had his 2 best games in about 5 years in Croke Park. And Darragh O'Shea, who recovered, he really wasn't good in the Munster Championship. Very poor. But I think the point that Joe makes is quite valid. I think the Kerry people believe in their team again. And I think it's Donaghy that's done it. And he's bringing them out in bigger numbers. You know, he's a one-man show at this stage. Sometimes, you know, there are characters on teams who are nearly bigger than the team. And it's quite amazing that in his first season of football, here we have a player who's come along and lit up the championship. And every day people want to go and see him play. And he's that type of infectious type of character who has enlivened the Kerry team, really. Brought back players like Darragh O'Shea to Seamus Moynihan and Gooch and Mike Frank Russell, you know, and they're all playing. Yes, overall it wasn't a good performance by Kerry. I would say they wouldn't be happy with the way they played, but maybe it's the right way to go into the final.
Well, isn't it just, Joe? I mean, that's the thing, you know, being in an All-Ireland final with work to do.
And what they've done in the Armagh match and again today, which will be very pleasing from a managerial point of view, is the experiment of playing Seamus Moynihan as a sweeper in front of the full-back has worked extremely well. You know, that's something that Armagh have done for 10 years, and Moynihan dropped back today in the second half. He just played in front of the full-back, and it meant that the gate was closed for a goal. You would have noticed how often Moynihan was there picking up that last ball, getting his hand in to intercept the last pass. That's because he's playing as an extra sweeper in there.
Well,
It's a good solid foundation to have.
The days of Moynihan chasing the man all over the field.
Oh, no,
anyway,
of course, yes.
You know, a lot of miles on the clock there, a lot of injuries as well.
But he's got the cuteness to play
he's
that.
The head, yes, he's the head, and he's marvellous in possession too. So, you know, Cork needed goals. They had a couple of chances or half chances, but it was just as well from the game point of view that Kerry didn't get theirs the first half, or the game would have died a death an awful lot earlier.
It would, and I suppose in fairness to Cork, all that happened to them today was they were beaten by a better team.
Yeah, and Cork would probably go out of this game, I'm sure Billy Morgan would say, we have a future, because, you know, they never let their heads drop, they kept battling, they kept coming back. They just don't have the same quality, but there is possibilities for Cork.
Yeah, Joe?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with it necessarily, but I just think that they've got real problems in their forward line. I mean, James Masters, for example, in the second half, whenever it became clear to him that he wasn't going to be able to do anything against that sort of that defence, he went out and he played out around the middle of the park, you know, and I mean, it may have been on instruction, but it certainly looked like abdicating responsibility, saying, well, look, I'm just not going to make any headway in here today. And I mean, I thought O'Connor looked good at full forward and won the ball well and all of that, but you know, they're just not playing at the level of a team that might go on and win an All-Ireland. There's no shame in that. I mean, that's just the position they find themselves in. I mean, whereas Kerry were coasting through the game. I mean, you look at 5 or 6 things out there today, like, I mean, Moynihan's sweeping, Darragh O'Shea's performance, Donaghy, good sort of playing at half pace.
Galvin, when he was concentrating on the game.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think everyone was very upset with Galvin. You know, I mean, you can't be having that sort of corner boy behaviour. I mean, you want to take a leaf from someone, take a leaf out of Donaghy's book. Donaghy was battered and fouled all over the pitch there today, and he came out with a smile on his face. Played with aggression and with heart and all of that. But this sort of corner boy stuff that Galvin has been at against our man again today, it's just nasty bad stuff, you know, and for a guy who's a school teacher, he shouldn't be at it.
Well, it's just deflecting from your own effort and the team's efforts and all that. Can I ask you one question, Colin O'Rourke? You know, we talk about managers like the Jack O'Connors or the Mick O'Dwyers and their presence and, you know, what they bring sort of the thing. Billy Morgan was up in the stand today and was enforced absence from the side. And would that have made any difference, do you think?
Oh, absolutely none. No, there's no, like,
the
idea of a manager on the line, you know, that's going to change everything. That's all rubbish. The manager prepares his team in training, and he has his few words in the dressing room, and then when they go out, you can make very little changes after that, apart from taking off somebody, putting on somebody.
But even just the closeness to the players, I mean,
you can't hear anything, you know, when you're playing out there. I mean, but probably, in fact, I mean, I would have thought, I mean, if you look at boys like, you know, Mickey Hart, I think, is the classic example. I mean, I think he's the, you know, at the top of the tree in terms of management. I mean, you'll never see him screaming and roaring on the sidelines. I mean, it's an analytical approach, and if there are tactics that need to be changed, they're changed at half time quietly, you know. So from that point of view, Mickey could as well be sitting sort of in the middle of the Hogan stand, and you get a better perspective there of what's happening.
Well, I saw it with the international rules team, where you had to sit in the sort of a box.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and you have a better perspective nearly on things, because you know, you've the cold analysis possible, because you're insulated from the crowd and you're insulated from the noise. In fact, you might never be at a game at all. And you can just look at the thing and see.
You see in English soccer, a lot of managers sit in the stand at the first half and come to the touchline.
It's a very good point. I mean, you look at Eddie O'Sullivan, you look at the All Blacks coach, all those guys, none of them are on the sideline, because, I mean, you know this shit, you know, it's like, you might as well be Homer Simpson on the sideline, you know, oh, you kicked it wide off, for God's sake, what are you doing, you know.
And we won't ask you for any examples. That's what we'll do. We'll take a quick commercial break. We're back with more about this match right after that.